Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Super Barber Samson with another video here at the Famous Phase 2.0. Hey, check this out. Have you ever done haircuts and somebody come in and say, I want a haircut just like that, and their hair texture is nothing like that? Well, today's video, we about to get it in. One of my longtime customers who happened to be Caucasian, he wants a haircut and a shape up, just like I give to some of his friends, you know, with the edge up, with the enhancement. So this video is basically about enhancements, because when you do an enhancement, you know, they usually have the black enhancement, but what about the brown enhancement or the blonde enhancement for those who are blonde with different hairs? Check this out. Follow your boy, subscribe. If you like this video, let's get it popping. Let's go. And we about to turn up. All right, let's go. Let's go. The purpose of enhancements supposedly is to make you look better, make you look a little younger. But these days, people are going to extreme measures to make their hair look good. For me personally, in this day and age, year 2021, the barber culture has perfected enhancements. And what does that mean? That means simply barbers have figured out a way, and this is not nothing new, but as time go on, with the help of different barbers and different inventors, like say for example Chris Bazio and all these other guys, these guys who is creating these spray guns and sprays and enhancement tools. I personally use Tune 45, shout out to them, but they use these, they create these enhancements, which are literally a temporary dye that doesn't come off for like four to 5 days, depends on how you put it on, and it makes them look. It makes your clients look totally different. It changes their perspective. They look good. They look fly. They're happy, but this is for black clients. I think the black clients have it down perfected, like, because we've been doing it for so much longer, like African American clients. Like, I want my hairline to be sharp even before the enhancements. Like, a tight shape up is the best thing or the best way to go. Like, if you don't have a tight shape up, you don't have a good barber, period. Your shape up makes the haircut, even if the haircut is halfway, if you have a tight haircut. But what happens when white people want a shape up? What happens when, you know, so many years, like, I think the biggest issue, like with a lot of Caucasian haircuts, is that when white guys come in the shop and they be like, man, I want a real tight shape up. And I'm like, huh? But your hair is blonde. I can't put black enhancement on your hair when your hair is literally blonde. So what do? Guys, this tutorial is for you, especially my barbers. Barbers, yes, you can do enhancements on Caucasian, blonde. I mean, this guy has like a dark blonde or whatever you want to call it, but I've used enhancements on guys who hair are lighter than this. Those videos are coming soon, but like light blonde also. But his edges, as you see that when I start to cut it down, you'll start to see that his edges are really, really light blonde, right? And so now it's like a darker blonde or dirty, whatever you want to call it. But so the reason I came up with this tutorial, because I had so many barbers shout me out and DM me and message me, and they was like, yo, Samson, I got some white guys who want to shape up like black guys. And I was like, what? I was like, okay, I get it. I see what you're saying. What do we do? They're getting haircuts, they're getting fades, but how can they get that tight shape up without, you know what I'm saying, without putting enhancements? Like, they want the enhancements, like, like I would say, like in most African American barbershops, I would say maybe 75%, 80% are using enhancements. I would even say more than that. But um, at the end of the day, these guys want to come out. The way our culture is moving, it's like it's no longer a white haircut and a black haircut. You know, in my opinion, it's like you have straight hair and you have coarse hair, and depending on what the person want, they want what they want. If a guy, I have clients, I have white clients who get dreads. I have white clients who get all different type of designs. I get Spanish people who years ago never got a fade. They just got something that was called a DA, which you trim it on the side, you cut down the sides a little bit, maybe with like a 3 on the sides, and on the top you scissor cut, and then you get the blow dry in the water, and you use that brush, that toothbrush, and you just blowing out the hair. So kind of like the way the Grease movie was, with John Travolta. All of my white customers back in the 90s, that's what they were getting. The black customers, all they wanted was like everything was about parts, lines, shape ups, horizontal, perpendiculars. Like I've been doing design since the 80s. So, but never, I literally seen this culture transition. Like doing hair for 30 years, me loving it. I literally seen the transition happen, like right in front of my eyes. Like I've seen like besides what we used to call it back in the days was like a crew cut. But a crew cut was a really tight fade. It was barely a fade, but it was like a bald all the way up, high ball fade. It was like almost like a military cut. And then, but now, like, guys are getting haircuts and they don't even, they just want it to look fresh. And their idea is fresh is whatever they see in the culture. But that's not just for white guys, that's for black guys too. So if black guys see a rapper with a certain type of haircut, he's going to get it, because that's the way the culture moves now. It's whatever's trending, that's what people are getting. And so this is one of my clients. I've been cutting him for like the last, I don't know, 4 years since I've been here. Literally since I came here to Texas. Like he is literally one of my first clients. And he used to come in with all his friends from the high school. And when he would come in, like after I cut his hair a few times, all of his friends would be like, "Man, you got the stuff to make your hair dark?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I put like the enhancement, put the spray. And back then we was using a dye. Well, a lot of barbers are still using it, called Kiss. And we would mix it with the alcohol or mix it with water, whatever would work. But the problem is with Kiss is that, in my opinion, is that it's too shiny when it goes on the forehead. It doesn't give a matte look. So when it doesn't give a matte look, what happens is if that person has thin hair in the front, it shines. So if the sun hits it, it's like looking at a basketball court floor, where it's like nice and shiny, like somebody mopped it with some matte wax or something like that. So it doesn't have that matte look. So everything has changed since then. I mean, everything has literally changed since back in the day. And so he would come in, and at this time I was cutting out my garage, and he was like, "Hey, I want that." And so I tried it the first time. This was just 4 years ago. This was not long ago. And he was like, I want that. And I was like, "What?" And so it wasn't really hard. It was so hard to do at first, because when you don't have knowledge of something, then you gotta be an inventor. So what I did was I kind of like found like different dyes, similar like Kiss, and I would mix them and get the light color. And it took us a while before we could find his match. We found his match, and from that point on, it became a game changer. You see, I'm spraying a little bit Got to Be, thanks to Got to Be. That kind of lays down the hair. Not kind of. That lays down the hair. Wherever you put it, that's where it's going to stay. That hair is going to stay there. And that's where you could get those nice, crispy, sharp hairlines. For those of you like, man, you're not following the tutorial. So these are for barbers who already know how to cut. But if you don't, it's just so many ways to kind of like be innovative and do things better, faster, and more efficient. And so this young fellow will come in and he would say, "Hey, I want this," and we would try it. We tried it several times, and we had several fails. I wish I would have had the videos with the fails. The colors was too dark. It was too brown, too black, and I would just essentially wipe it off. Get some alcohol and just wipe it off and do whatever I needed to do to get it off his skin, and then be like, "Hey, we'll try it again next time." And before he would come, when he would set his appointment, I would go back to the hair supply, beauty supply, and I would try to find a different color. And then eventually we got it down, but those colors for some reason would go bad. Like once you have, and you have to get the mix. Once you get the mixture right, you can't put that mixture in a big bottle. For some reason, when air get to it, it would turn it purple. And I know that happens with Kiss also. So it became a pain in the butt to continue to mix every time when somebody comes. So you would have to take like 5-10 minutes out to mix it so it wouldn't have that purple look after it. So we would just, for him, I would totally just mix it for him. And when he would come in, and these young guys, these high schoolers, are like my billboards. These are the guys that go back into school and everybody say, "Hey, who cut your hair?" And he'd be like, "Oh man, Samson." And go to his garage, give him a call, tell him I called you, tell him I sent you. So this is one of the major ways where I had got my start in Houston, where I was cutting the local kids, the high school kids, and I would just give them a discount. I say, "Hey, keep your grades up, and I'm going to give you a discount." But then Tomb 45 came out. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get in focus a little bit more. But this is Tomb 45. It's called Brown Black or Black Brown or whatever. Hopefully you can see the bottle. There we go. A little bit. There we go. Tomb 45. Thanks to Chris Boswell and the team. I was watching a video one evening. I can't remember. It wasn't long ago. It was like last year sometime. And Chris Bosio was, he took this bottle out of Tomb 45. And he was like, "This is the best thing, blah, blah, blah." And I've seen a lot of barbers and a lot of companies say this is the best thing, with Black Ice, with all these different type of brands. And the problem would be is that people would come back to us as barbers and be like, "Man, I went to the club and I sweat and it came right off," or "I messed up my clothes," or "I messed up my pillows." And so I had a real issue with that because I can't even really charge the way I want to charge because now this stuff comes off. Like, the other stuff was like coming off and everything I used. Then I resorted to the Beijing and coloring it. Some people are allergic to it. And then Chris Bosio came out with this right here, man. And it's the next thing since sliced bread. So I was like, "What is this?" And he poured some on his arm. And then after he let it dry, he took water. He was standing at his sink. And I believe he's like, if I remember the video correct, I think it was like a live video or something. And he literally was wiping it off with water and it was not coming off. And I was like, "That's what I need right there." And so that's what I use. I swear by that because I haven't had no complaints. Nobody has come back to me. And this is by no means no endorsement I don't have no endorsement by Tomb 45 or Chris Bosio or none of them guys. I'm just telling you what works for me. If I tell you I use the Babyliss, it's because I like it. Now I use the Argos, the ear girls, or whatever you want to call it. I use those as far as clippers. But the Babyliss trimmers is still the strongest clippers. Until they come out with stronger clippers than that, then I ain't trying to hear nothing else. So I use this enhancement on this young guy, and I mean, just like I think it was like last year when I first started buying it. Yeah, sometime last year, and it's $20 a bottle, and depending on how you use it or how you spray. And so, just like anything, I'm an artist. I was a graffiti artist way before I was a barber, and I know for a fact you can get a different tone or a different color, not a different color, but a different tone, like whether light or darker, depending on how far you spray it, or depending on how spread out it's sprayed, you could get a different color. Now, if you see, like right where I'm doing it right now, this is the black and brown. So if you see, I like a lot of people spray a little closer. So I'm just hitting it with the dab to kind of like blend in with his color. And later on, I'm going to like kind of like brush it off to kind of like fade it into his skin. And like, I'll kind of like brush it off right there. I like, if you see in that left corner by the point, it's a little too dark. But before the haircut, I'm going to brush that down and still kind of look all right. His hair falls in his face, but you know, as barbers, you want to be a perfectionist, and you want to make sure. But if you see the general idea right here. So this guy who didn't have a shape up at all, now he has a shape up. So by spraying the Got to Be, I put down that layer, and you see the thin spots right in the middle of his head. I'm literally laying it on top of that Got to Be. So it's not going to even come off. I'm laying it on the skin, but it's really on top of the Got to Be. So what I'm doing here is just spraying it. And what I love about this is that you could change somebody's life that simple with a nice fade and a nice shape up. Because all of the younger guys, this became a real serious trim. But now the older guys are coming in. So I have some of my clients that come in and they say, hey, I seen this young guy with a shape up. Can you put some of that stuff on my hair? I just don't want it to come off so easy. And now a lot of my older clients, so I have a lot of professionals. I have a lot of doctors, lawyers. I have movie stars, YouTubers. I have all these type of guys that I cut, whether it's a house call or whether they come into the barbershop, and all of them want star quality haircuts. All of them want polished haircuts. And I'm not just talking about a haircut that's like, okay, the haircut is over, out. Like, I'm talking about you spending time on their hair and it's polished. So this is how I've been able to make my money. This is how I've been able to become a well over six-figure barber. This is how I could regularly charge a lot of money for my haircuts, because I take my time. I don't have to rush. Years ago, I used to rush. Years ago, I was in all type of barber competitions, and I'm talking about when barber competitions first became relevant. I'm talking about like in the 80s. And like looking back now and seeing where and how far we've came as barbers, we've literally changed the game. Like in the 60s, you couldn't get a haircut like this, period. You know what I'm saying? There was no such thing like this. I mean, guys got nice haircuts. It was decent haircuts. We had good barbers. I take my hat off to the barbers. My dad was a barber. He was a barber back in the 50s and in the 60s. And so when you look at now where barbering and haircuts have transitioned to, you can literally say, you know, and this is to all my barbers, you can say, hey, I'm a part of something, because now there's a lineage attached to haircuts. There's like, you know, you can literally look back and see where the first haircut come from, where clippers derive from. Like, clippers haven't been here for more than, I don't know, I mean, like a motor engine clippers with motors in them haven't been here for thousands of years. That hasn't happened. And so now they coming out with now they have the cordless clippers that I'm using. I'm using the Babless FX with the 245 charger, and I just lay it on the mat and it works perfectly well. So going back to this haircut, if you see, Now, so what I do is what I do is I literally spray it lightly, and I kind of spray upward so I could still shape it up. And then I see how it looks, and then when it looks well enough, then what I would do, I would spray it again. What I'm about to do now is get an alcohol pad. This is something that a lot of people don't really know, especially barbers. Like little tricks in the trade. What I'll do is I'll spray a little neck strip or a cotton ball or whatever with some straight up alcohol, and I'll clean the area really well, the hairline area where I'm about to spray the enhancement. And the reason I do that is because if you spraying it on top of an oil, you see I put some for the lining. I put some got to be on it, but on the points, which is for me very essential. So I clean around that area, and before I even start to spray, I put some alcohol, clean that area really well, to get those points really sharp, and to get that lineup very sharp, to make it, and just that simple. Boom, he has a hairline. So this is why it's important to kind of know. And it literally looks like hair. Like right now, this dude, he's about to start feeling himself. If you see like his face, his facial expressions, I love the facial expressions of my clients because like after they get their hair cut, after, I don't know if barbers, like put in the comments and let me know how you feel about your clients, how they look. That boy Kane is smiling, like this is like so important. So I kind of like go over some of the, it's not unfaded areas. It's just that the Tune 45 works so good. I'm literally just blending in the color a little bit, to kind of like blend in the darker color with his blonde, with his blonde color. Now, blonde is like another version of brown if you go lighter and lighter and lighter. So his hairline, if you look at the top of his hair, it's really light blonde, and as you go to the middle, it gets darker, almost down to a brown, and then when you get to the edges, it's like light blonde. So this works out for me, and it works out for him because it becomes a game changer. What I also like about the enhancement is that you can still touch up and fade, and then see the color, and then you could just brush it in or do whatever you need to do to make it look right, or to make it to the best of your ability. All right. So I don't know if you guys need to see the rest of the video. I hate doing long tutorials, but I felt like I really needed to do this tutorial to kind of show you guys what I do and how, because I got a high demand. A lot of people see that I do a lot of white guys in my tutorials with edge ups, and because I do those tutorials with edge ups, it becomes a game changer. And they love it, and so a lot of my barbers like, hey, I have some Caucasian clients and I don't know what to do with them. They want to get enhancement, and so what do I use? And I just say Tune 45, order it online, or maybe your supply guy has it. Just that simple. And I don't believe, like, especially the barber game, you should find out or have secrets and try to hold on to them. I believe if you're making everybody look good, there's enough money. The barber regular person ratio is so huge. Like, there's not enough people that could get their hair cut with one barber. It's too many people. Like, it's like there's no way in this world that one barber could cut everybody in the world. So there's enough money to go around. There's enough game to go around. There's enough there's enough clients to that every barber who's working right now can make a lot of money. There's so much room for growth in this industry. I've seen this industry grow from barbers making $10,000 a year, $20,000 a year, $50,000 a year to well over six figures. I see barbers become millionaires off of capitalizing off of social media, capitalizing off of becoming inventors. So this industry has been, it has fed me and my family, put us in a home. This industry allowed me to travel. This industry has allowed so much for me. So it's a blessing. So when I'm able to give back something, and this is not major, but this is something I can give back with assurance, to know that somebody's gonna watch this video. If there's one young barber who watches it, and I give him some game, he goes to the next level because he knows how to do this. I just also want to tell you guys, thank you for watching my video. I really, 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 really appreciate you guys for watching my video. It's so important to me that you watch the video. But hey, if you really like this video, here's what I want you to do. I want you to hit that bell, subscribe, and hit the top bell, so then that way you can get alerted every time I post a video. This is a growing channel. I got some really good videos coming up soon. I got a video coming up talking about barber and taxes, like how come barbers run from taxes or they don't pay their taxes. So that's why a lot of barbers are living in poverty, because they never pay their taxes, because it's been an all cash business for so long that they hide their money. But when it's time for them to go buy a house, they can't really buy a house because their income said they make $30,000 when they really make $60,000 or $70,000. So I want y'all to holler at your boy, and I'll speak to y'all soon. Peace out. Hold on. Right before I go, I wanted to share with you guys that I have some extra free 99 info that I didn't share. And this usually happens when I put out a video and people ask me, "Oh man, I wish you would have talked about more. I wish you would have." So as I was editing a video, I started thinking, I said, "Man, I need to kind of like elaborate a little bit more on enhancement, since this is an enhancement video." You can put enhancement on anything. Enhancement is not meant to cover up mistakes. Most times people will put enhancement to cover up their mistakes, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to put enhancement on your mistakes. Enhancements is basically to enhance, to make that design or haircut or lineup sharper, to make it a little bit darker. Most times when you put a layer of shade, just like I don't know if you guys are artists, but like go get you a book, one of those blank pages book, and just learn how to just start drawing. Like just try to copy off of some of the pictures that you may find that you may like, and just sit down and just get a pencil and just learn how to get your hand skills, your motor skills is what they call them, how to be able to draw like with a pen or a pencil. And it's not as hard as you think. Even if you start by go buy some tracing paper, and that's how I believe you get better and not just doing designs, but you become a better barber because your motor skills, you learn how to control your fingers, your hands, and movements and curves and in straight lines. Learn how to draw straight lines, perpendiculars, horizontals, and all these different lines and how they move, how they go, and how you could continue them, how you could use the edge of the clipper. Coming up soon, very soon, I'm going to be doing a tutorial strictly on how to create a design. I'm trying to find somebody who, and I'm sure I'll be able to find somebody. I'll probably do a portrait design because everybody's been asking me about the portrait design. Hey, how can I do a portrait design? But I've even used enhancements on myself. If you can see here, I got a hair unit on. And in order to make the hair unit pop after you put it on, and I did this to myself, I put it on myself. But after you do the hair unit, you literally have to kind of like throw a shade because every area is not covered in it. So those are the times that I would say strictly that you would use the hair enhancements. Some kids who literally haven't combed their hair or been woofing for a long time, they have a lot of spots because they haven't brushed their hair for a long time. So that's when I would use enhancements to cover up those spots. But not only for that, I love using enhancements for designs. If you need more information, link in the bio, holla at your boy. Peace. Let's go.